For the longest time, we all thought the console war was over. We were used to three main players: Microsoft with Xbox, Sony with PlayStation, and Nintendo, content in their own isolated world. But let's stop and think. Is the modern gaming industry dominated by subscriptions, demanding AAA games, and OS monopolies truly at its endpoint? Gabe Newell, the CEO of Valve and the boss of Steam, apparently thinks otherwise. After a massive failure in the past, Valve is back with its latest hardware, the second-generation Steam machine. This is not just a small PC, it's an anomaly, a PC that functions exactly like a console, yet with the true open freedom of a PC. We call it the console killer, born from the lessons of the past. Why does this new Steam machine have the potential to be the biggest disruptor we've witnessed in the last decade? And how can Valve's business strategy through this hardware destroy the very foundation that Sony and Microsoft have built? Let's break down the strategy completely. To truly understand the impact of the Steam machine today, we must first look back at its origins, specifically around the 2010s. Valve had actually attempted this PC-console hybrid concept before. It was still called the Steam machine. They partnered with big manufacturers like Alienware and Lenovo, with the simple idea of bringing the full PC gaming experience to your living room. However, the project failed spectacularly. The problem wasn't the grand vision, but the technical execution and the gaming ecosystem weren't ready. This failure meant gamers didn't see a strong reason why they should buy the product. First, Valve insisted on using SteamOS, their Linux-based operating system. In that era, game support for Linux was simply not there. Most AAA games could only run on Windows, so consumers bought an expensive machine only to find they couldn't play their existing PC collection. Second, the initial hardware itself was poor. Gamers reported the devices were loud, often overheating, and even physically smelly. Clearly not what you want in a modern living room. And finally, the pricing was not competitive. It was often as expensive as, or more expensive than, a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but with massive game limitations. If you wanted a powerful PC, you'd build it yourself. If you wanted a console, you'd buy a PS or Xbox. The first Steam machine simply didn't have a strong reason to exist. In short, it was an experiment that was far too early. Valve tried to break Windows' dominance, but desperately lacked the main weapon: game compatibility. Then, everything changed with the arrival of the Steam Deck in 2022. Although the Steam Deck is just a handheld console, it is this device that unknowingly solved the biggest problem that killed the first Steam machine. The Steam Deck proved two crucial things to the industry. First, it proved that Linux gaming was finally ready. Thanks to Valve's massive investment in a technology called Proton, games built for Windows can now run smoothly, sometimes even better, on the Linux-based SteamOS. Proton acts as a universal translator that has virtually eliminated the entire compatibility issue. This single technological advancement is the key that unlocked the door for the new Steam machine. Second, it proved that gamers were accepting plug-and-play on Linux. Millions of Steam Deck units were sold. Gamers showed they were willing to move away from Windows as long as the experience was simple, smooth, and free from the constant hassle of unexpected updates. The Steam Deck offered the simplicity of a console, but with the freedom of a PC. The Steam Deck's success was the perfect proof of concept. Valve now possesses a mature and fully tested operating system, ready to be scaled up and put into a more powerful box. And that box is the second-generation Steam machine. The new Steam machine is released with a single, clear vision: your games on the big screen. Powerful PC gaming made easy in a small and mighty package. Valve has taken every lesson from its past mistakes, resulting in a design and spec sheet that strategically attacks the weaknesses of both existing consoles and traditional compact PCs. First, let's talk about the design and functionality. The device is incredibly compact, roughly the size of a Bluetooth speaker, and is specifically engineered to look great in your TV cabinet. Crucially, Valve made sure the design is cool and quiet, a direct and welcome fix for the noisy issues of the first generation. Furthermore, this is a true dual-function device. You are not just buying a game box, you are buying a PC. You can play games, certainly, but you can also code, work, or handle office tasks, something the PS5 or Xbox cannot do optimally. In terms of specs, the machine is promising massive performance. It utilizes a discrete semi-custom AMD desktop-class CPU and GPU. Valve promises seamless 4K gaming at 60 FPS with the help of FSR upscaling technology. This performance target is set directly to match or even surpass what current-gen consoles offer. Valve is taking control of the entire gaming experience, from the OS, the Steam distribution platform, the input devices like the Steam controller, right up to the display output with the Steam Frame VR headset. This is the core reason why the Steam machine is considered an industry disruptor. Valve is attacking at a critical moment when the other two giants are showing weakness or uncertainty. So, what's their strategy against Windows' monopoly? Since day one, Gabe Newell has viewed Windows as a potential disaster for the PC gaming ecosystem. The decision to use SteamOS is a long-term strategic move to eliminate PC gaming's dependence on Microsoft. The Steam machine is the physical hardware that validates SteamOS. If gamers adopt this machine en masse, Valve will have successfully pulled PC gamers out of the Windows ecosystem, securing a huge victory for their platform. Then why Xbox and PlayStation should be worried? Xbox is currently transitioning its primary focus to a subscription service, Game Pass, and is no longer prioritizing hardware exclusivity. Most of their games are now released on PC. The Steam machine walks in and says, if all your games are already on PC, why not just play them on our powerful PC that is disguised as a console? This makes the Xbox Series feel less essential for playing their own games. For PlayStation, exclusivity is their last bastion, but that fortress is already crumbling. Major exclusive PlayStation titles like God of War, Spider-Man, and Horizon have all been ported to PC and, consequently, Steam. The Steam machine immediately becomes a versatile living room device capable of playing all these ported PS games, in addition to the entire Steam library. PlayStation is forced to compete only with its brand new titles, not its whole back catalog. This leads to the death of the console argument. The Steam machine offers a fusion that is hard to refuse: console convenience combined with PC power. You get the plug-and-play simplicity, the small form factor, and a TV-friendly interface. But you are not trapped in a closed system with mandatory online subscription fees. Gamers can now have one main gaming device that is portable, connects to the TV, and can also be used for work. Valve's strategy is fundamentally about winning distribution dominance by making the Steam platform the ultimate gaming standard, irrespective of the operating system or the physical device. All this fantastic analysis will be meaningless if Valve fails on one fundamental aspect: pricing. The pricing is the final verdict that will determine whether the Steam machine truly becomes a console killer or just a second failed attempt. Valve must learn the biggest lesson from the Steam Deck. Success comes from aggressive pricing. The deck was surprisingly priced, starting at $399. The Steam machine must replicate this philosophy. The challenge is clear. The PS5 is currently priced around $499, and the Xbox is similar. With specs promising 4K/60 FPS, the Steam machine is technically a much more powerful and expensive machine to build. But for the Steam machine to genuinely disrupt the market, its price must be able to compete fiercely with existing consoles, or even undercut them. Imagine the scenario. If Valve can price the Steam machine competitively, say $500 to $600, with the promise of 4K performance, and you never have to pay for an expensive online subscription like PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold, and you have access to your entire Steam library, the console war is truly over. The deal would simply be too good to ignore. Valve is likely selling the hardware with minimal profit margin, or potentially even at a loss, just to attract millions of users into the Steam ecosystem. Valve's core revenue remains the massive commission they take from every game sold on Steam. If Valve manages to create pricing magic, hitting that sweet spot between PC performance and console pricing, then the Steam machine is no longer just a product, but a living room gaming revolution. The second-generation Steam machine is not about repeating a past failure. It's about fulfilling Gabe Newell's long-term vision to free PC gamers from Microsoft and seamlessly integrate PC gaming into the living room. They have built the strong foundation through Proton and the Steam Deck. Now they are launching their ultimate weapon, hardware that is perfectly positioned to become the new standard for gaming on your TV. What do you think? Do you agree that the pricing factor is the single most important determinant of the Steam machine's success? And how exactly should PlayStation and Xbox respond to this potentially disruptive move by Valve? Drop your critiques, corrections, and predictions in the comments section below. We are genuinely eager to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the gaming industry and technology strategy, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next industry breakdown.